All right, guys, we are finally here. We got all the lids. They flex. I don't know if you can see that, but it's just when you walk on them, you feel like you're going to come through them. And I only probably got about 2 or 3 of them, but I'm going to do all the lids this special way that I'm going to do it, just because I don't want to have to do this again. So that's what this video is going to be about. Fixing these lids, trying to re-fiberglass them to get them some more strength in them. So that's what I got right here. I got some fiberglass. This is a chop strand fiberglass mat, and I got some this is some type woven type fiberglass, and I mean it is this is 6-ounce fiberglass. I'm just trying to see the actual name of it, because like I said, this is my first time doing this, so I don't want to lead nobody down the wrong path. But it's 6 ounces. I mean, you can get different ounces, get different thickness of this fiberglass, and of course, you know, this is like just like a, you know, a piece of cloth, but it's actually fiberglass. And this is just fiberglass pieces that's glued together, because you can pick out pieces of fiberglass out of this mat right here. So what we're gonna do is we're going to try to put, I'm going to say 4 layers. 3 layers of this chop strand, because I got a whole big roll of it here. I don't know if you see that, but so I'm going to put 3 layers of this and sandwich 1 layer of this in the middle, because this is going to give you more strength than this chop strand. But don't quote me on that, because this chop strand, it's got fibers that go all different ways. I mean, it's going to give you strength from all different ways when you put it down. And I got polyester resin that I'm going to use as the resin to get all this cured. So let's try to cut out a piece here. I already did 2 little sample lids that go on my live well. So I'm going to move you in a little closer so you can see exactly what I'm doing. Okay, like I said, this lid is bigger than this piece. I'm just going to cut this piece. I got this little electric cutter right here. It's working out pretty good, so I'm just going to cut this straight across here. To get this out the way. So I'm going to move this out the way so you can see this roll of chop strand mat, fiberglass mat here. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna place the lid up under this mat. And that's another thing on this mat, when I'm putting these layers on it, I want to start with a smaller piece, a little larger piece, then a little larger piece, to get everything to flow out just right on the edges, so it won't be one big, you know, shelf on the edge of that fiber mat here where it stops at. So I'm gonna pull that lid out just a little bit, and I'm gonna try to stop short of that, about that far, but I'm gonna try to get this straight across here first. And I'm using, you know, when it comes to time to use a, well, I'm not gonna throw that way just yet. I might need that down the road. But so what I'm gonna do is try to get this kind of, I mean, it ain't got to be exact. And don't forget, you got a hole here where your lock go. I mean, all this is not got to be exact. It just and I'm gonna try to just put me a little mark over here and go to the back, not all the way to the back, just stop short of the back. And I'm just going to try to cut that out. Like I said, I'm not looking for perfection. I'm just looking to be able to cut it out. Okay, so now I got my piece. Like I said, this is going to be the first piece I put down. Then the next piece I cut will be the piece I put on top of this. And it doesn't have to be a whole sheet. Like this sheet right here. If I wanted to, on the next one, I could probably cut it out here. Then cut me another piece that type way. Because, like I said, once you put your polyester resin on all this is going to blend together. And you won't even know that it's like two pieces. So, but that's right there. It's too short for what I want to do to begin with. So I got that. I'm going to mark out this hole. And I'm just going to put a dot at the edge of the hole here on 4 sides, before I know how far that hole goes out. And it's probably best if you cut that hole a little bit bigger than the actual hole. And what I've been doing here is I've been just trying to find the matching side and squeeze it and just try to cut it out here like this. Trying to go on the way on the outside of the actual marks that I made. And that way, that hole matches up with that hole. And I'm ready to go for the next piece. Like I said, I'm gonna cut this next piece. Just eyeballing it. Like I said, it ain't got to be exact. Yeah, that won't be wide enough, but I'm ready to use that down the road somewhere in this process. But just to let you guys see what's going on here. Like I said, I'm gonna get my next piece and I'm gonna put this piece over top of it, because I'm gonna make 2 pieces close to the same. And I'm pretty sure by the time I get everything cut out, it's not gonna be the same. So I'm just gonna go around the edge of this, just tracing it out, cutting it. I'm gonna try to cut this one a little straighter than I cut that last one here. Okay, now that I got that cut, I'm just gonna mark out this hole. I need to have long sleeves on, but like I said, I just got through with those lids, and I moved right into doing this. So, but other than that, you know, because you are messing with fiberglass, and everybody knows fiberglass will stick to you just like a needle if it gets in the right angle. So, just think about, if you're messing with this, you need I should have my mask on too. Because if I look up in the sunlight coming in, I can see little flakes of fiberglass in the air, which is never good for your lungs. So, but like I said, I'm just doing this to try to, so I can be able to talk to you guys. So, put a mask on when you're doing this. Okay, now that I got these 2, these are going to be my first 2 layers. And my next layer is going to be the matte fiberglass. And I don't have much of this, so I'm going to need to use this sparingly. Get this other piece out the way here. And I can use the same thing. I can use, matter of fact, I can get this lid out the way. I don't need that anymore. But I'm gonna line this up. First off, I'm gonna square it up here. So I want that middle piece to be just a little bit bigger, not too much. Just staggered just a little bit. And I'm just gonna just cut around it. Just a little bit bigger than what that chop strand is. Then I want to mark the hole for all this to line up once I get ready to put it on the lid. Yep, you can get out the way, Matt. I'm done with you for right now. And like I said, I'm gonna cut this out the same way, just trying to match it. I can see through it. And I keep stressing, you know, like I said, this stuff doesn't have to be exact. I mean, you don't want it too far off, but you know, you ain't got to be right on the line. That's the one thing about fiberglass, is forgiving. Okay, so now that's our third piece, and I'm gonna cut another piece here. Just trying to think the best way. We want to maximize what we're doing here. So let's turn that sideways. And this old kitchen table works out just fine for this. I wish it was about another 8 inches taller, but I mean, it works for what it is. Good old buddy of mine gave me this table almost 15 years ago, and it's just been sitting in the corner. Let me see if I can get y'all a little bit further over here. And it doesn't help, the lighting is not too good here. Like I said, I'm in my basement and the sun's coming through that window. So, but like I said, I'm gonna line it up with this side, just making it just a little bit bigger. And I'm just gonna go around it again. Thing is getting stopped up with fiberglass. All right, I'm gonna mark my hole so I can keep my placement. Like I said, I'm just gonna try to match it up with the back side. I think I'm progressively making this hole a little bit bigger than the last one, just because this is going to be the top layer. Okay, so now we got all our pieces cut. I'm going to bring the lid back. and show you guys what I'm saying about progressively bigger. So like I said, I cut it out like this, and when I put it back on, this first piece that I cut will be on just like this. Then I'm gonna use my polyester resin. I mean, you can use most of the stuff that I've learned how to do this with is coming from Bump TV. He's a good source to mess. He does a lot of fiberglass work making boats. He's a boat builder, that type thing. So these resins he used, I'm trying to think of the name of that resin, and when I want to be able to say it, I can't think of what it is. But I'm using polyester resin. You got epoxy resin, which epoxy resin, from what I've learned, it doesn't gel with all other kind of fiberglass. Like if this top was polyester resin, you know, if Ranger made out of polyester resin, and I try to use some epoxy resin on top of it, it may not stick to it. It may just separate. But that's why I chose a polyester resin. The other guy, the Bump TV guy, says the other resin is the best resin to use, which I already bought my resin before I learned that. So on the second piece, we'll go on top just like that, just like we cut it. And the third one would be this mat. That's what I'm gonna call it, mat. I don't know the exact name of it right this second. But then I'm gonna get, you know, I'm putting polyester resin on each level, on each layer. I'm gonna start with this one. I'm gonna put it down, put my polyester resin on it. Then once that's wet enough, I'm gonna put my second layer on. I'm gonna polyester resin that. Then my third layer, which is this mat, I'm gonna polyester resin all that. And then the last one would be this top piece. I'm trying to make it so it doesn't go over the edge. I probably have to trim it off some. I don't want it to go over the edge and mess with the placement or the fit of this lid back in the hole where I got it from. I don't want to interrupt the latches that go on the back side, and this inside I want to make sure my lock will go back in there to be done with that. Then once I get this done, I will put my my pad for under my carpet. I will, well, once this cures, which is probably be, you know, I'll probably let it cure about 3 days or so, depending on what type temperature it is. And once that cures, then I put my pad on top, glue my pad down, then I will be able to then put my carpet on top of this lid. I mean, it sounds like it's a lot of steps, but I think it needs to be done because some of these lids are getting to where I need to fix them or replace them, and I don't want to go through the process of replacing them. It would be easier, but
like I said, I got some
the cost
resin
of replacing all these lids, I don't know what that would be, but I'm pretty sure it's up in the thousands. So
MEKP,
this right here,
that we have to put
I want to say it costs like $150. That mat down there probably
some noise in the background. I got
$30-$40. So I mean, I would have all that at the end, and I put in the description what I've used.
Man door, it's all the way open.
You know, so you probably talking $200-$300 when, you know, I can fix all these lids when it come down to the end of it, and if I replace them, you know, you're talking thousands. So that's the process of that. I'm gonna go back and
but I learned
do all the cutting for each one of these lids, and then we'll come back and we'll start
so that's why I got this
polyester resin these layers in. So I'm just gonna move this one to the side and get on the next one.
And use the other one and still have a good glove on my hand.
Alright guys, I'm getting ready to actually put some polyester resin
acetone
on my fiberglass here,
the towel here,
on top of these lids.
I'm gonna put on my
like I said,
I hope you can hear me.
Yesterday I got all these
too, so
all the fiber cut,
chemicals can actually
and all the lids
make sure you have your
sanded down and ready to go to put the fiber on top of it. So I got all my PPE on. Matter of fact, No, I'm gonna keep that on for a second. I got my GoPro on, try to give you some close-up shots, and hopefully we can get this going. Like I said, I got some polyester resin. Then I got the I guess you call it the hardener,
I'm trying to get all the
MEKP
residue off the top
that we
of
have to
this
put in the resin
for that
for the actual cure. And if you hear
stick on here,
some noise in the background, I got my
and
garage door open.
it will dry up real
Well, my
quickly,
garage
so
door
you won't have
halfway
to
open,
sit
but
here
my actual
too
man
long worrying
door
about
is all the way open.
it actually
Trying to get some
dry
ventilation in here because this
curing.
stuff is actually loud, and I'm gonna try to wipe this lid down with some
And I did put
acetone
a
first to try to
piece
get it
of
clean,
paper on
but
top of this table
I
to
learned
try to keep it
yesterday
halfway clean through this
messing with this
process.
fiber, you have
So after I
fiber
get done with this and everything
particles
cured,
all
I'll be
over you
putting the,
everywhere. So that's why I
starter
got
on.
this on
And
now.
I'll be using this
I
table
got
to do
2
that.
pair of
So
gloves on, so
we wanna
if
try to
one
keep
gets
it
messy, I can pull it off
clean as possible
and use the other one and still have a good glove on my
to the
hand.
end of the project. Then
So we're
it
gonna
can
get
as dirty as it
started
wants to be.
with this acetone. Let me find me a towel
Okay,
here.
I'm happy with that.
I'm gonna put on my mask. I hope you can hear me, because this acetone is kind of loud too. So all these chemicals can actually do damage to you. So make sure you
Okay,
have your
we're gonna
PPE on
mix up
and
some
be
of this
safe with it. So
polyester resin. Like I said, I'm new at this, so take what I say with a grain of salt. So we're gonna put us probably half a tank of this resin in here.
I'm trying to get all the residue off the top of
And they
this
say
for that fiber have the best
you need at
chance
least 2
to stick on
to
here.
3% of
And like I said, with this
MEKP
acetone, it will dry up real quickly, so we won't
make
have to
this,
sit here
polyester resin set up.
too long
So
worrying about
I don't have one of those squeeze
it actually dry curing.
that the other people have. So I'm gonna basically guess at this. Hopefully it's a better guess than
And I did put a
not
piece
having a
of
good
paper
guess.
on
So
top of this table to try
I'm
to
gonna
keep
put
it
a couple
halfway
of drops.
clean through this process.
I'm gonna try to
Because
clean.
after I get done with this and everything cures, I'll be putting the carpet on, and I'll be using this table to do that. So we want to try to keep it
I'm gonna try to put about
clean
15
as
in there.
possible
I did have a little run
until the
here
end of the
there,
project.
so
Then it could get dirty as it
it's
wants to
all a
be.
guess, like that. So
Okay, I'm happy with that.
you want to make sure this is mixed up real good. Real good. So this is going to take you a minute to mix this up. Make sure it's all mixed up.
Okay,
from
we're
top
gonna
to bottom.
Mix up some of this polyester resin.
And it depends on the weather too with the MEKP.
Like I said, I'm new at this, so
When it's hot, you
take
wanna
what I
use
say
less 'cause
with a grain of salt.
it'll set up quicker. Or when it's cold, you want to use more.
So we're gonna
'cause
put
it
us
has a
probably
hard time
half
setting
a
up.
pint
And right now, today is probably
of this resin in here.
56 degrees. But inside here in this basement, I thought
And
I
they
had a
say
calendar, not a calendar, but a
you need at least
thermometer
2
to tell what temperature
to
it is in here.
3%
And I
of
think it's a little bit
MEKP
warm in here. It might be 65
to
degrees in here.
make this polyester
The
resin
wind
set
is
up.
blowing
So
awful hard
I
outside,
don't have one of those
blowing
squeeze
leaves around, so
measuring tubes that the other people have. So I'm gonna basically guess at this. Hopefully it's a better guess than not having a good
I'm
guess.
gonna
So
probably
I'm gonna put a
switch over to
couple of
respirator
drops.
'cause I can still smell this.
I'm gonna try to count them.
I mean, it doesn't smell too bad, but if you can smell it, it's getting inside of your mask.
I'm gonna try to put about 15 in there.
So after this,
I did have a little
batch
run here,
'cause,
2 there,
you
so
don't wanna get
it's
this
all a
mixed up
guess, like I
already,
said.
put the hardener
So
in here and let it sit here for a second. You don't want
so
that to happen.
you want to make sure this is mixed up real
I
good,
think I got that
real good. So it's gonna
mixed up
take
pretty
you
well.
a
I'm
minute
gonna
to
get
mix
my
this up.
container
Make
that
sure
I'm
it's
gonna
all
put it
mixed
in.
up from top to bottom. Yeah, and it depends on the weather too with the MEKP.
So
When it's hot, you want to use less because it'll set
you
up
wanna
quicker.
do is make
Or
sure
when it's cold, you want to use
you
more
get it out of this
because
container
it has
as
a
soon
hard
as you can,
time
'cause
setting up.
when it sits on a
And right now
cup
today
like
is
this,
probably
it'll set up faster than
56
when you
degrees.
put it in the pan to get it.
But
you know,
inside
out
here in this
and
basement,
spread out some. So
I thought I had a
I'm gonna pour
calendar,
it in
not a
this pan
calendar, but a thermometer before I could tell what the temperature is in here. And I think
wanna
it's
try
a
to
little
get
bit
all
warmer
of it
in
out
here.
of
It
there.
might be 65 degrees in here. The wind
I
is
have
blowing awful
9
hard
lids to
outside and
do.
it's blowing leaves around. So
And I need every
I'm going to
ounce of
probably
this.
switch over to a respirator because I can still smell this. I mean, it doesn't smell too bad, but if you can smell it, it's getting inside of your mask.
Okay. We're ready to put some
So after this
resin on
batch
top
here,
of
because you know you don't want to
lid here.
get this
trying to
mixed
get
up
my
already. Put the
roller
hardener in here
soaked.
and let it sit here for a second. You don't want that to happen. You want to be able to use it as
Enough
soon as
resin.
possible. So I think I got that
And this
mixed
is
up
like a
pretty
base
well.
coat you want to
I'm going to get
Really?
my container that I'm going to put it in.
give the fiberglass something to set on. So make sure you get a good coat on there.
I don't think I need that part of it.
And the roller stay on there.
So
Come on, roller. Work with me, man.
what you want to do is make sure you get it out of this container as soon as you can, because when it sits on a
So, I mean,
cup
you're not
like this,
trying to
it'll set up faster
soak
than
it wet, but
when you
you're
put it in
trying
the
get enough
pan to
on
get
there
it,
for
you
when
know,
put the
out
fiberglass
and
on
spread
there or
out
something.
some. So I'm going to pour it in this pan
here.
here. I want to try to get all of it out of there,
This roller's gonna be a problem. Okay, we want to get our first
because
piece
I have 9 lids to do,
of mat.
and I need every
Like I said, it's a
ounce
smooth
of this.
side on this side, and it's a rough side. I don't know if it makes a difference, but we're gonna just put it on
Okay.
there and get it down. And
We're
hope
ready
for the
to put
best
some
with that. Trying to get
polyester
it
resin on top of this lid here. I'm just trying to get my roller here soaked.
straight, and we just want to go over top of it with some more resin.
With enough resin.
Saturated. And you know you got enough on
And
there.
this is like a
It'll
base
almost
coat. You want to
disappear
be able to
from what I've seen. Like I said,
give
I'm
the
talking to you
fiberglass
like I know,
something to
like I've been
to
doing
set
it for
on.
years, but
So make sure you get a good coat on there.
you know you can learn a lot from YouTube. So, and what I'm talking about is
And the roller stay on there.
different gloves. You're gonna get a lot of.
Come on, roller,
fiber
work
on
with me
there.
now. So I mean, you're not trying to just soak it wet, but you're trying to get enough on there for when you put the fiberglass on there to have something
This roller is
to adhere to.
blooding me already on the first one.
Yeah, this roll is gonna be a problem. Okay, we want to get our first piece.
And I might be
Of
doing
mat?
overkill.
Like I said, it's a smooth side on this side, and it's a
using
rough
four
side. I
layers
don't
of
know if it makes a difference,
But we won't know
but we're
until
gonna
we finish. But I rather
just put it on there and get it down and hope for the
I'd
best
like
with
to
that.
have just enough, but
Trying to get it straight.
I don't want to have not enough.
And we just want to
So
go on
once you
top
got
of it
enough
with
on
some more
there that looks like it's
resin.
disappeared.
Trying to get that saturated.
Just wanna.
You know you got enough on there, it'll
everything
almost
should look
disappear.
Like it's wet. If it's got
From what
a
I've
little white
seen. Like I said,
spots in it,
I'm talking to you like I know,
areas, white areas. That
like
means
I've been
it's
doing
not
this for
enough
years, but
resin. So put you some more.
you know, you can learn a lot from YouTube. So, and what I'm talking about is different gloves. You're
And I
going to get a
got
lot of this fiber on there.
roller here called the bubble buster. It squeezes all the air off and under the actual fiber, the fiber mat here. So you just want to go over top of it. If you
This
see
roller's bugging me already on the
spots that
first
you might
one.
be able to go over and get all the air off and under it.
And I might be doing overkill for
And I probably need to get
for using 4 layers of
bucket or
this,
something with some,
but we won't know
with some,
until we finish.
so
But I'd
I'm
rather
gonna
use
go with
more
the
than
next layer
less.
here.
I like to have just enough, but I don't want to have not enough. So once you got enough on there that looks like it's disappeared,
And like I said, I really don't know how
just want to,
this resin will go. Like I said,
everything should look like it's wet. If it's got
Hopefully
little
half the
white
paint will
spots
do
in it, areas, white
a lot
areas,
of
that
this.
means it's not enough resin. So put you some more on there.
But guys, you know, you just want to try stuff sometimes, you know, just to
And I got
see if you can do it, sharpen your skills.
roller
and
here
just save you some money. You
called
know,
a bubble
if you can
buster.
do it yourself.
It squeezes all
half
the
the
air
And you
off
know
and
it's
under
done
the
to the best
actual
of your ability.
fiber, the
Why
fiber
would you
mat
pay
here.
anybody to do it?
So you just want to go over top of it. If you see any white spots that you might be able to go over and get all the air off and under it.
I see now I'm gonna have to make up some more resin.
And I probably need to get me a bucket or something with some so I'm gonna go with the next layer here. And like I said, I really don't know how far this resin will go. Like I said, I did half a pint. Hopefully half a pint will do a lot of this. But guys, you know, you just want to try stuff sometimes, you know, just to see if you can do it, sharpen your skills, and just save you some money, you know, just if you can do it yourself
Just trying to
for
push
half
out
the
any
price,
air bubbles.
and you know it's done the
anywhere
best of
from
your
this mat
ability,
here.
why would you pay anybody to do it?
That doesn't take much.
I see now.
I'm gonna put this next
I'm gonna
layer.
have
This
to
next
make
layer
up
is
some more resin.
I like to find the name exactly of this material. I want to call it fiberglass mat, but it's not mat. It's like a woven material, it's like a cloth, so I call it fiberglass cloth there. That's exactly what I'm going to call it. I don't know if that's the right terminology for that. I have to go back and look at TV.
I'm gonna put this next layer. This next layer is the I like to find the name exactly of this material. I want to call it fiberglass mat, but it's not mat. It's like a woven material, it's like a cloth, so I call it fiberglass cloth there. That's exactly what I'm going to call it. I don't know if that's the right
You don't want to make
terminology for that. I have to go back and look at Bump TV.
When it comes to the end.
As you can see, this is like a bubble right here. I'm just trying to squeeze out.
I'd rather have too much and not enough. That's not.
And I can see I need some more. The more I do this, the more I figure out
Get this mixed up again.
how much I need. You don't want to make too big of a batch, and you don't need it when it comes to the end.
That quick, so
Like I said, I'm just trying to count 15. 1, 2.
you want that mixed up real good. This part
I'd rather have too much and not enough.
Sure it's mixed up
That's
real
my
good. That hardness and all the whole batch here.
All right. We can get back to putting it down. I'm pushing it, try to push the air bubbles out of it. Just seemed logical to me. Like I said, I want to make sure it disappears. It should be translucent. You shouldn't be able to see the actual mat once you finish. Well, once you get it all down there. I still see, to me, it looks like 1 or 2 little bubbles. I'm gonna get my bubble buster out here. So you're on the clock. Once you mix that resin, you're on the clock, so you got to keep going. I'm gonna put my last layer on here. And I want it to come to the edge. So this last layer, I mean, if you wanted to, you could probably pull some of this out on top here and just smooth it out. And as you see, I'm getting the sticky finger, and I haven't only just picked it up. Haven't really so don't be scared with the resin. Resin is your friend. It's going to help you get your lids the right way. I definitely need another roller though, that's for sure. And this is lid number 1. So I use almost 2 pints. Well, a pint really, because I did half a pint really. You got it. You're going to use it. So I got a little bit left in this pan. And you can just pour your polyester resin in that cup without putting the hardener in it. It won't get hard. It'll just sit there. So if you know you're going to use 2 pints and you want to have one sitting there ready just for you to put the hardener on there, I'm pretty sure that won't hurt anything. Like I said, I can't tell you what's the thickness of these 4 layers. But like I said, my whole thing is to try to strengthen up these lids from the sponginess. And I'm pretty sure this is somewhat close to the process they use to make these lids. I can't see anywhere else as long as they put it in, and spray it in there, but we doing it the old-fashioned way. So I'm gonna let this sit up for a couple of 2-3 days and see. Hopefully I got enough MEKP in there for it to set up, and the temperature in this basement is enough. If I feel like it's not, I will take them upstairs in the heated area. That way, give them the best chance they can. Get my bubble buster here. And it feels like my bubble buster is grabbing. So I need to get me a bucket, put me some acetone in it, clean my bubble buster off before it gets gummed up with all this resin. So there she is. That's lid number 1, and we got 8 more to go. So since we know how to do it, we're gonna keep on going, and we'll come back when everything's set up. All right, guys, we finally got the lids fiberglass last night. They almost cured. I mean, it still got a little some tackiness on the sides here. See if I can show you this. As you can see, that is, awful hard, and hopefully it's only going to get harder and harder as it cures more and more. But it's good enough for me to go ahead and start cutting the padding that I'm gonna put up under the carpet. So I'm gonna keep moving here, trying to get things done as quick as possible. So like I said, these are good enough for me to handle. So I'm gonna go ahead and start cutting the actual padding that's gonna go on there.